A very good morning to all of you. I, Trupti Tagare, Assistant Professor from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Dayanand Sagar College of Engineering, Bengaluru, on behalf of the management, principal, and the DSE family, extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you to this virtual workshop on entrepreneurship and innovation as career opportunity. This workshop aims to extend the knowledge of our participants on entrepreneurship and innovative skills required to build a successful career. Dear participants, staff, and students, we are all privileged to have a well known expert resource person in the telecommunication circles across the country with us. None other than our very own colleague and mentor, Professor Chandrasekhar N., Associate Professor, EC Department, DSE, and formerly Deputy Director General, Telecom Engineering Circle, Government of India, New Delhi. Now I request Dr. Shashiraj K, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE DSE, to introduce our resource person for the workshop, Professor Chandrasekhar N.
Thank you so much, madam. It's my proud privilege to introduce you all the speaker for today's session, Professor Chandrasekhara N. So he has excellent academic qualifications. Professor Chandrasekhara sir completed his bachelor's in electronics from the prestigious UAC Bengaluru, then master's degree in the communication system from IIT Madras, and then postgraduate diploma in management from All India Management Association. Professor Chandrasekhara sir has 3.5 years of research experience in the field of optical fibers and coaxial systems in ITI Bengaluru. With his intelligence and hard work, sir cleared Indian Engineering Services exams, which offered him to join Department of Communication, Government of India. He has rich experience in telecom operations, maintenance, planning, and projects. He has served in the field of electronic landline exchanges, mobile communication, 2G, 3G, high-speed data communication from many years. He has also worked in many states of India, namely Karnataka, Assam, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, and New Delhi. He also served as marketing manager for about 2 years, and finally he got retired from his duties as Deputy Director General, Telecom Engineering Center, New Delhi. Then he decided to join teaching profession to share his vast knowledge and experience. And he
So, without wasting much of the time, let me start off straight away. The topic which we're discussing today is entrepreneurship, innovation as career opportunity. I have divided the topic as follows. The first one is creativity, invention, innovation. If you want to really understand what innovation, which is a product of creativity and invention. So we will dig deeper into what creativity is. Then we'll get into innovation process. Is there a way that we can increase or we can develop innovative or creative processes? Then a brief introduction on entrepreneurship, followed by what is the career opportunities in innovation bar entrepreneurship. So first, let's understand what creativity is. Creativity is a function of knowledge, curiosity, imagination, and evaluation. Some of you must be wondering, creativity is an instantaneous process. Well, the root cause for that spontaneity is knowledge, curiosity, imagination, and evaluation. The greater your knowledge base and level of curiosity, the more ideas, patterns, combination you can achieve, which correlates to creating innovative products and services. There are three important levels of creativity. They are discovery, invention, and creation. That is, if you want to really understand creativity, you have to understand its subsets: discovery, invention, and creation. Let's see what discovery is. It's a lower level of creativity. It is when you became aware of, or you stumble upon something. That is discovery. To give an example, the gold exists on earth, but you discover the gold. You stumble upon it, or you search and get it. Or a simple example would be, you take a piece of food with a unique pattern. You can make it into a beautiful art. So you have discovered that piece of food which has got an art-like example. Similarly, a rock with a unique shape, if you discover it, that is known as discovery. So basically, discovering is something which exists already. It requires your unique eye to discover or unravel the beauty of that piece, or the value of something which you have discovered, like gold, platinum, etc. That is discovery. We also say we discover the intelligence of a person. It exists in him, it is innate in him, that we discover. That's about discovery. Now let's see what invention is. A higher level of creativity is invention. Alexander Graham Bell invented a telephone. What's the difference between these two? Discovery and invention. Before Alexander Graham discovered the telephone, the microphone existed, the speaker existed, the wire existed, which can carry the electromagnetic waves. He put all this thing together and invented a new one, and he called it as a telephone. This is the invention. While invention is higher than discovery, it is something that is going to happen because the science is there. In other words, if you don't invent it, somebody else will. That's the beauty of invention. Now let's see, is there a creative processes? How do we how do you go about building up an environment which is conducive for creative process? The first and the foremost is, creative people have developed their ability to observe and use all their senses. Senses is the ability to hear and distinguish, the ability to see, the ability to smell, the ability to taste and touch. All these five senses in are a combination of these senses are highly developed in creative people. Creativity is based on knowledge. Therefore, you need to continually expand your knowledge base. Read things you do not read normally. Your perception may limit your reasoning. Defer your judgments unless you know the facts, the 360 degrees of the fact. If you got an idea, let it incubate. By incubate, I mean allow the idea to germinate and expand in all direction before using it. That is incubation. And once you get an idea, incubation means take some break from it, allow it to germinate in your mind, in your senses, to get a new perception, a new way of getting your ideas. The next point is experience as much as you can. Exposure puts more idea into your subconscious. Actively seek new experience to broaden your portfolio. The next important thing in creativity is normally when we are stuck with a problem, we always think of that problem and get a solution. But you will find that in most of the cases in reality, multiple problems exist because there is a root cause creating this many problems. Unless that root cause is solved, you can't solve this existing problem. So always you have to go to the root cause. Look where others are not looking to see what others are not seeing. This is important. Hear something which others are not hearing. This is the process of creativity. This is an important thing. And this gives a passage from innovation to entrepreneurship. This says, creativity does not lead growth and profits in an organization. Invention does. We will see shortly what invention is. Innovation does not happen without creative people on board. Innovation to happen, creative people are required. Creativity is a spontaneous development of new ideas and out-of-box thinking. Creativity is a necessary prerequisite for innovation, but they are not the same thing. Let's see two of the greatest thinkers, what they said about creativity and innovation. Creativity is thinking up new things. Innovation is doing the new things. That's the difference. You can take creativity as the noun, innovation as the verb. So unless you innovate, creativity remains as creativity. It does not add value to the company or an organization. Let's see what Steve Jobs says. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. An innovator leads, the rest follows. Let's see, what is that typically stops your creative mind? The number one right answer. I will illustrate that shortly. For real life problems, there is no single solution. There is no the answer. We'll see it shortly, why it is so. People say, be logical. Logicality, reasoners, does not result in creativity. It will blind creativity. It will mask creativity. Similarly, like things like be practical. If you're always practical, structured, it will not amount to creativity. Curiosity counts. If you're highly specialized, it is difficult to be creative. The more experience you have, the more multi-dimensional thinking you have, that results in creativity. Many people say, avoid ambiguity. Ambiguity is the one which creates, in the first place, the creativity. Never bother things like, I will make a mistake. When you get an idea, never think, is it good enough? If I tell somebody else, or if I share with somebody, will it be a mistake? Will they mock at me? These are the things which subdues, puts down creativity. So, students, try sometimes not to be logical, not to be practical, very ambiguous. Then let's see whether your lateral thinking is developed because of this, and you can come out with the creative ideas. Okay. Find out the one that is different from all others in this. Of course, I don't have the time to check up your answers, but your answers could be A, because A is the only one which is a complete figure, that's a circle. The rest are not the complete figures. Well, why not D? A very peculiar shape, D. Well, why not E? Because that's the only one which has got a straight line with edges and no curved surface. This is exactly what happens in real life situation. There is no one size fit all solution in real life. There will be multiple answer to the same question. You have to select the best one depending upon what is that you are seeking. A company may seek growth in revenue, growth in profit, growth in image. Each one requires different answers. So there is no right answer in your real life. The right and the only answer to the problems. You have to generate multiple solutions and select the best out of them. Prioritize your answers. That is innovation. Let's now compare the difference between innovation and creativity. Creativity is an act of creating new ideas, imagination, and possibilities. Innovation is introduction of something new and effective into the market. We will see how or who will innovate from a creative idea from a creative person. If you take the process, creativity is imaginative, innovation is productive. Creativity cannot be quantifiable, whereas innovation can be quantified. Creativity is thinking something new, whereas innovation is introducing something new. There's a difference between thinking and introducing. Creativity may not burn much of your money, resources, particularly financial resources. Innovation can. There is no risk in creativity, in generating a creative idea. When you innovate a product, there is a risk. We will see why shortly. So, in sum, a simple definition between innovation and creativity is the idea. On the left, you will see on the screen. And when value is added to the creative idea, it becomes innovation. An innovation is an invention with a meaningful impact on the society or the organization. Then, who is the people who is making innovation? Here comes the role of entrepreneurs. That is why today's topic very aptly says entrepreneurship and innovation. Entrepreneurs are the agents of innovation. Innovation is what entrepreneurs do, and they do it in many different contexts. Startups, which you're all familiar with, they innovate things in a growing organization. In society, the social innovators create new social ethos. In short, anyone and everyone who wants to make change happen or the change agents are entrepreneurs. This diagram very excellently depicts how creativity, entrepreneurship, and innovation are interrelated and differentiated and integrated. You look, innovation is the intersection of creativity and entrepreneurship. The creative idea can be made more useful. You can add value to creativity when entrepreneurs interact with that idea and innovate, in the sense they add value to the creativity. In other words, the intersection between creativity and entrepreneurship is innovation. Now let's see what entrepreneurship is. One of the important takeaway from this slide is the common assumption or thinking among all of us is that an entrepreneur takes only financial risk and reward. No, it takes financial, psychological, and social risk. Why social risk? What happens if his entrepreneurship fails? There will be a lot of social admonishing. Your parents will say, I told you to get into a job. You chose to be an entrepreneur, and see what happened. And it is very psychological risk and reward. Why? You feel, because of the financial and the social problems, psychologically let down. So remember this, an entrepreneurship has got financial, psychological, social risk, and at the same time, it has got financial, psychological, and social rewards. Imagine a founder of a unicorn company, the amount of respect he commands in his social life, the amount of psychological pleasure he gets in his own self. So this is important: financial, psychological, and social. Continuing, for the entrepreneur, as I said earlier, an entrepreneur is an innovator who combines technical innovations and financial finesse. He plays an important role in producing competitive product, process, and services. Again, the stress is on competitiveness. Have you produced something, a product which is competitive in terms of features, in terms of cost, in terms of satisfying the need of the society? Entrepreneur also innovate on the processes and services. As I keep telling, as on today in India, the largest contribution to our GDP is through services. Productions is yet to take off. With the production linked incentives, it is hoped a lot of production will increase, so is the job creation. That's what the next point is. An entrepreneur generates new employment. Another advantage of an entrepreneur is local and regional economic development. He also is responsible for the effective and efficient allocation of resources and transfer of technologies. This is my favorite one. Look at right side of the screen and go through it. And entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life, which nobody would like to do that, because the stress involved, the hard work involved is tremendous. But why do the people do that? So that you can spend the rest of your life like most people cannot. So it is, let's say, 5 to 10% of your life getting into misery, hard work, etc., and enjoy the rest of your life like nobody else can. Other thing in the slide is common: creativity, innovation, resource identification, economics, etc., etc. Finally, before we wind up our discussion on entrepreneur and entrepreneurship, this is an important slide which says the first thing for an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship is an initial idea plus a willingness to engage in difficult work. Financial, social, psychological difficulties are encountered here. Plus, you should have, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, customers who are willing to buy your idea. So an idea processing or working on that idea, and somebody to buy your idea constitute overall entrepreneurship. Okay, in summary, innovation is about creating value from ideas. It's a journey, not a light bulb moment. This is important. Don't think somebody got an idea out of blue, then implemented in 1 week and he became rich. It's never the case. It's a journey. It's not a light bulb moment. Entrepreneurs are the people who make this journey and make this change happen. Of course, they do it in many different contexts. This is important. We are all potential entrepreneurs, so worth learning the skills to make innovation happen. What are the skills? Go back a few slides and remember what we discussed. Before, of course, one more important slide, and understanding new age entrepreneurship. The new age entrepreneurship is all about breaking the barriers. It's a technology driven solution. It should be a scalable venture. Scalable, not in your society only or in your state only, not in your nation, but worldwide. It should be scalable. Accessing funds from the ecosystem, angel investors, crowdsourcing, venture capitalists. As I said before, global reach of business powered by internet. And we find that most of the new age entrepreneurs are first generation, not Ambani's, Birlas, Adanis, etc. We will see in the next few slides the young entrepreneurs, and they're all middle class. Okay, that principle is we have discussed enough. I will go to the young entrepreneurs and finally come back on the careers. A 15 years old kid, Tilak Mehta from Mumbai, is the founder and the CEO of Papers and Parcels. Can you imagine? He has integrated 300 Dabawala as partners and employs 200. Go to Google search and dig deep into what Tilak Mehta has done. Wonderful. 15 years old. Can you believe this? Nitesh Yadav, age 21, is from Alwar, Rajasthan. He is the founder and CEO of TechScan, an Android application developer. Recognition, Android application developer and coder for social cars. Age 21. Not to leave out the future Indra Noyes. Let's see. C. Lakshmi Suresh, age 22, Kozhikode, Kerala, founder and CEO of eDesign, started in 2009. Recognition, world's youngest CEO and world's youngest web designer. National Child Award for Exceptional Achievement 2008, etc. Do dig deeper into all these personalities and you will know how they went through it. This is famous, of course. Bhavesh Agarwal, age 35, Ludhiana, Punjab. He's the CEO of Ola Cabs and now Ola Scooters, e-scooters. He was an assistant researcher at Microsoft Research India. Okay. Now let's see what are the careers in this. Some of the designations for a career in innovations are innovation consultant, Google, Microsoft, you name the latest and highly innovative companies, there will be an innovation consultant. How do you become innovative? Go back to our previous slides. Business, the next designations is business designer, change agent, very important, change agent, chief innovation officer, like chief executive officer, chief financial officer. Now there is a chief innovation officer. What is his job? He will encourage people not to be practical. He will encourage people to be ambiguous. He will encourage to break the so-called barriers, be it sociological or psychological. A new business development manager, business development lead, innovation catalyst, innovation analyst, digital transformation officer, manager, innovation strategist. Well, friends, this is happening. This designation are already in place. You can be one of them. You can be one of them. For that, be creative, innovative, and an entrepreneur. And you should know the difference between the three. Okay, carrying entrepreneurship, you can make a small business owner, a business consultant, business reporters, fundraisers and development officers, sales manager, new venture developers, and last but not the least, like me, you can be in the faculty teaching about creativity, innovativeness, and entrepreneurship. Okay. Well, students, I hope before I wind up, you know why this slide is there? We were all innovative at one point of time. And what is that point of time? You know it. When you are kids and growing. Why? At that time, you are not burdened by the structured way of life. You are not burdened by excessive importance to be practical, to be analytical, to be subservient to the society, to think in a logical way. You observe kids, they were the most innovative. You can get back that moment. Well, that's it, friends. I've come to the end of my talk. Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir, for the insightful talk. I hope all the students, the participants over here, will definitely take up as a career opportunity, become entrepreneurs, become innovators. So, students, if you have any doubts, any questions to ask to Professor Chandrasekhar N, then please put it in the chat box. Okay, so now I'll be sharing with you the feedback link. Nothing? Okay. Find anything, students, you want to ask any questions, you can put it in the chat box, or Chandrasekhar sir is always available. You can come directly and meet him. Okay, we have a question from Swapnil sir, Dr. Swapnil Lesson, he has a question: how to differentiate between creativity and curiosity? Over to you, sir.
That's really indeed a very good question. Uh, Let me see what the answer could be. Curiosity is develops because of your senses. By observing this taste, looking at certain things, that amounts to curiosity. A curiosity develops when you see something which others are not seeing or which stimulates your senses. Creativity is the process wherein curiosity is one of them. Creativity also includes knowledge. Creativity includes exposure to different experiences. And curiosity is one among the components of creativity. Well, I hope I'm able to answer your question.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else has any questions? The quiz and the feedback link is being shared to you students in the chat box. Please check it. If you have any difficulties in opening the form, let me know. Only students who score more than 50% of marks in the quiz will be getting a e-certificate to the email ID mentioned by you in the feedback link. Okay, so I take this opportunity to once again thank our today's speaker for the workshop, Professor Chandrasekhar N. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and motivating our students. I also thank our beloved principal, Dr. CPS Prakash, who has always supported us to take up these such kind of activities in our college. I also wholeheartedly thank our beloved HOD, Dr. TC Manjunath, for his support and motivation, and all the staff and students participants for joining us. And also I extend my heartful thanks to our organizers, Dr. Shashiraj KM, and also Professor Dhruva Kumar. So thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed this workshop. Have a nice day. Thank you.